Hello, my name is Dan Fashionbauer. Have you heard of AI? Of course you have. It's everywhere in the news and media. Whether you like it or hate it, it's going to be part of your world in the future. So you better embrace it. My business acquaintance, Mike Filsain, will provide a demo of his new product called Groove.ai, which makes it extremely easy to use AI. Take it away, Mike.
In our dashboard, we have these 30 different apps that I'm going to be demonstrating for you today, and our main hero app, which is the projects. There are plenty of videos that we have for you inside here in the Help Center where you could get all your video training, anything that you need. I'm not going to get into how to add an API key or anything like that. We're just going to talk about what makes a Groove.ai so powerful, why you want to have it in your arsenal. And the first thing we need to do is we need to start with how does it compare with ChatGPT? So let's first create a project, and we're just going to call this Groove.ai Holiday Sale Demo. All right, so we're going to create a new project, and it's going to immediately put us inside of this project. And I have my screen blown up to make it easier for you to see. So let's just do a quick walkthrough of what you see here. Basically, you see three different columns or panes. This first pane, where all of your settings go so that you can do better prompt engineering with our recipes rather than you having to say, act like this and constantly do that over and over and over again. And you'll notice every time you open up a new chat, your settings stay the same, unlike with ChatGPT. You also have a document editor over here as well. Actually, I'm going to go to ChatGPT first, and then we're going to come back and see how this compares. So let's go to ChatGPT. Now, what we're going to do is let's just write this right here. Write a blog post about Trello. I'm not going to put all of the prompt engineering in it right now. I'm just going to give it one little additional task here that says in Markdown with what you see is what you get output. Use H1, H2, H3, etc., and bold and italics and underline if needed. Okay, so we're going to do that in GPT-4. Actually, I'm going to just switch that to GPT 3.5 because I'm not interested in the quality of the output right now. I'm interested only in the actual format here. Okay, so you're going to notice that if you do what I just did right there, it's going to write something that is pretty good copy and pastable, which is really, really good for your SEO. Okay, the problem is it's basically unusable. If you try to copy and paste this information into WordPress, the sad thing is that with ChatGPT, it's copying this background. Let me show you that exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm going to just go to a Google document and I'm going to click paste. You see that this is basically unusable. There's no way to get rid of that. So I'm going to click Control Z and I'm going to right click and click paste without formatting. But what do we get? We lose our formatting. As you notice here, this title is an H1, which is good for SEO. So we lose all of that. So what's your other option? You could say, well, Mike, there's a little copy button. I don't know if you notice at the bottom, you can click copy and that gets rid of all of that formatting. Well, what that does, that basically puts it in Markdown. So if we do a normal paste here, it does it in Markdown, but it doesn't give us a what you see is what you get, which means if you know anything about Markdown, a hash means H1. This is H2. This is H3. If you're looking for something in bold, they put two asterisks around it. So did they give me anything here in bold? They didn't even put anything in bold, but had they put anything in bold, you would have seen something like this. Asterisk, asterisk, and asterisk, asterisk, like that, right? You see? And it just converted it to bold, right? Because that's Markdown. And we don't want to have to go in and go, okay, so this is H3. So then I need to go here and go H3, but I've got to get rid of this. This is just a total waste of time. So what you end up doing is just sucking it up, not ever telling it to give it to you in Markdown. You have to go back and edit later. Or your emails look like crap because anything you've written, you're not able to keep any of the formatting. If you'll notice with Groove.ai, if I were to copy this same information here, not that you would do this from ChatGPT to Groove.ai, I just want to show you that our document editor compared to Google Docs, if I click paste, just a regular old paste here like this, you're going to notice our document editor here keeps everything intact for you. This is crucial, guys. This is crucial. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with you here right now. I'm going to go to a domain. It's always better if you do it incognito because then, you're getting rid of your preferences, but even do it cognito. Let's actually just take a look here. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever had this problem with ChatGPT. It's been 1 year and 2 months that we've all had access to ChatGPT, or about 1 year and 1 month. And you have some chats that you worked on about a year ago, or even 30 days ago. So I'm going to just go into character here right now for a second and tell me, have you ever done this? And now I'm pretending to be a frustrated user like you and me. And you'll do this. Where is that chat that I did on Groove.ai sales letter? Is it this one? No, I'll go all the way down. Maybe it was, let's see. And I'm just joking right now. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever had that problem where you're trying to find that chat that you've had with ChatGPT and you simply cannot find it. And you're like, oh man, Peter says, yep, been there, done that. It is very frustrating now to go back 1 year and try to find a chat. You can see I've had, let's just see what month this tells me. Because at a certain point, I'm only in November. So everything I've been scrolling is just, the last, 30 days. And I do a lot of demos in here. So you're seeing. So this is almost impossible to find something. Wouldn't it be great if you had a search bar right here that you could not only search your chats, but your documents and your projects, and you had a global search that kind of works like a spotlight search on your computer. Like this, right? And you could find all of the times where you have a mention of that in your projects. Well, number one, we have that ability. We also have a document editor, but you can add multiple documents here, as you see here. And you can rename this document. Let's just say this is going to be called blog post, and this is going to be called affiliate. I'm just going to put swipe email 1, right? I'll create another one called affiliate swipe email 2. And I'll just go and say, what am I going to need for this particular campaign? I'm going to need a landing page. Great. So let's just put here that we want to create a landing page like that. And I might even move that over to here. So now I have landing page. I'll need a thank you page. And now I might even do something like I need to create a pop-up for the team. And so they know what goes in the pop-up. So basically what you're doing is you're creating every asset. So then I would go on and I would say email follow-up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cart abandon sequence. Now, if you think it's tough just writing down just the titles of those things, imagine what it was like in the past, having to actually write the email copy for all of this stuff. It used to take 60 to 90 days to do a full campaign, and you'd have to pay a copywriter a minimum of $5,000. And if you paid somebody $5,000 to do all of this for you, you got a bunch of crap back. Like it was just unusable, it wouldn't convert. And so what you did is you did the 80-20 rule, and you did most of the stuff, but you really didn't actually create a good follow-up sequence. It would take you months or sometimes a year. You can ask me and Donna. When it came to writing a full follow-up sequence, it took us 18 months after the company launched to actually write something. Now we can do what would take 90 days, we can do in 90 minutes. Now with ChatGPT, there's one other problem that we have as well. You're going to notice that you cannot share this with anybody and collaborate. You cannot collaborate with people after you share. You'll say to me, Mike, I'm not sure if you know there's a little thing right here that you can share. And so let's see what happens. I'm going to click copy, and I'm going to say to Simone on the team, hey, Simone, here's something for our client and Groove Agency that you asked me to help out with. And then she says, okay, great, thank you. So you're like, Mike, I don't understand. It looks like you can share, but watch what happens in the original. If I go over to here and I put hello, it says, how can I assist you today? I am good, thank you, just saying hi. Now you're going to notice I have additional output here. So I may want to continue to work on this for this client, but guess what happens? What I shared with Simone, if I hit the refresh button here, let's just click refresh, you're going to notice it's static. So we've just created 2 separate universes. She can pull this into her ChatGPT, and I'll never see what she does. And I can keep adding things over here into my ChatGPT, and she'll never see it. So you can share but not collaborate. It doesn't allow you to collaborate. So now we're going to take a look at Groove.ai, and you'll notice that we have a share feature here. Now, users can sign up for free for Groove.ai or any of the white labels and get a free account. The free account basically allows them to go into a project that you share with them, but they can't create their own projects, right? But you can collaborate with your team members with Groove.ai, all right? So all they do is they create an account. You put their name and email address in here, mike@mike.com. We're going to click add, and I can add Mike as an admin, a team, or a client. So what's the difference between the three? Well, right now we're looking at this as an admin, which means I have the ability to destroy. Okay, I can delete things. And we only allow admin can come in. You're basically giving them the same rights that you have. So we would definitely recommend that instead you give them the rights of, let's just say, of a team member. So a team member will not be able to see the delete feature in anything. Unless they create it, they have 1 hour to delete it. That's it. But after that, it's fixed. So you can't have a disgruntled employee ever go and delete any content that's being created. Okay? So a team member can add, but not delete and not destroy. Now, so that what is a client then? Well, a client will not be able to see any of the settings where you have presets that say something like act like a direct response marketer in the style of this person. They can't see that you optimized it for a blog with or let's say an email with the problem agitate solution framework, all of your tone and style. You don't want to give up the secret sauce of how you created this for the user. In fact, you don't even want them to see the prompts that you did. So your admin does not see the settings and they do not see any of the chats. You can hand off your assets to your client and all they will get is simply the documents. And they can continue to edit these documents with you as well because it's collaborative. You shared it with them. This is good for solopreneurs. This is good for owners of a business that want to buy this for their team, like my team uses Groove.ai. This is also good for you if you're on the team to ask your employer to get an account so that you could be more effective in your work. The same way you would say to them, hey, can we get Adobe Premiere so I can edit videos better, right? And this is really, really good for anybody that wants to become an entrepreneurial agency where they want to do copywriting and content and blog writing for people and hand off the assets to the clients and collaborate with them. This is also good for agencies. Just like Groove Agency, we use this with our clients where we can share work with our clients. So that's some of the use cases who would want to use this. We're going to go back to the actual look and feel of this. And we're going to notice here that we also, if we go to the right, we can change up the user interface to different colors if we like that match us. We're going to have an infinite color picker here for you as well. You know, there's different colors that you like. You simply do that. You'll also notice that we have dark mode. I prefer dark mode myself. I just don't like the demo in dark mode. So I'll turn that back to light mode. We currently have English, German, Portuguese, and Spanish. And in January, we're going to have all the user interface languages that aren't Asian characters. The Asian characters are a little bit complex first in the user interface, but pretty much you're going to have all the other languages are going to be in the user interface. So if you want to switch this over to German, as you can see here, the entire user interface now goes into German. So I'm going to go back to, I don't even know where to click now that it's in German. I'm going to go back into English, and we're back in English. A couple of other things that we can do with Groove.ai that you can't do with ChatGPT. We're going to go out for a second, and we're going to click over here on knowledge bases. So what you can do with a knowledge base, you can create a knowledge base, give it a name. I'm just going to call it holiday. So we have the ability now to upload files. So I might have all of these different files here. Let's just go into this called GPT files. And let me just put this into a list view, a little bit easier. So it's only one at a time. So we'll just add another one like this. And basically what I'm doing is I can go to a YouTube video, and let's just get this AI one here. And let's say, I like what he's talking about keyword research. I want to add that to my knowledge base. I can just go to YouTube transcript. That's a website, YouTube transcript. And when that loads, I put in the URL and it'll transcribe that entire video for me. I'll just click copy like that. And then I can go back to Groove.ai and I can paste it right in here like this. Or I can just create a text file and paste it like that and call it keywords. And now if I want to add that to my knowledge base, I simply go to my downloads where that was. Let's see, date created. And I upload that. And as you can see, I can upload as many files as I want, up to 5 megabytes at a time. How big is 5 megabytes? Well, the Bible is 4.2 megabytes. War and Peace is about 4 megabytes. So you could upload a file larger than the Bible unlimited number of times. You can just, add all of the knowledge that you want. You're creating a knowledge base. And then when you're done, you click train. And what it's going to do is it's going to index that knowledge base. So that means, there we go. It's indexed and trained. Let me just see. Yeah, it's indexed. So we're all said and done. So what I can do now is I can go back into that project. I can go to knowledge base and turn that on. And you're going to see I didn't select the knowledge base, and I can select this one called holiday sale. And you're going to see I want to use just the world knowledge of normal ChatGPT and ask it, anything. It'll give me the ChatGPT answers. The problem with ChatGPT is it doesn't lean towards anything. If I wanted to create an article on socialism, and I've used socialism as an example because people have polarized view on socialism. So if I ask ChatGPT to write me something on socialism, it's going to say, people have different views. While some proponents will say it's good, blah, 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 opponents, blah, 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 and all those different types of things. I don't want it to rely on the world knowledge. I want to curate my own information, what I would refer to as a methodology or an ideology. And I want to collect that knowledge into YouTube videos and PDFs and all that stuff and upload it to this knowledge base. And once I have that, I can now say, okay, now nudge the world knowledge towards 25% based on what I uploaded, or 50%, which means highly influence it, or lean heavily at 75%, or 100%. You can only use the information in the knowledge base to repurpose the information that I want. And what that means is if I ask it, how do you bake a cake? It's going to say, I'm not sure. I don't know how I can do that. Let me show you an example of a knowledge base in action. If you go to Groove.cm, let's just get the pop-up here and get that off. Okay, you're going to notice we have a little chat with a knowledge base happening right here. And the way that I did that, there's a company called chatbase.co. We will be adding this feature into Groove where you can talk to the knowledge base and put a widget. That'll be coming early next year. So let's just log in. Okay, so you can see I have a chatbot for Groove.cm, for Groove.ai, for agency, my mastermind, the studios, etc. And the way it works is you basically go into where it says sources, and you can see here, just like with Groove.ai, you paste text, you upload files, you can put a website URL in and it fetches it. And as you can see, it's gotten all of the text off of every single website related to Groove. And we've created 1.8 million characters. And then once we do that, we go to the settings and we basically tell it who it is. All right. And if we go to the model right here, and this is where we tell it, basically act like a sales rep for Groove.cm. You will provide answers to the given info. If the info is not included in the documents that we have trained it, then say, I'm not sure. Now, obviously, I don't have to show you this. If I go to ChatGPT and I ask it, how do I bake a cake? It will tell me. But this cannot answer anything that's not in the knowledge base. So if we go back to this knowledge base and talk to it, we say, how do you bake a cake? It's going to say, I'm not sure. But if we ask it, how do I add a domain from GoDaddy to Groove Pages? Well, now it's going to give you step-by-step directions because it's going into the knowledge that we trained it on. So that is an ability that you don't have with ChatGPT to be able to talk to a knowledge base. We can now purpose our content towards our methodology. Imagine you watch 10 YouTube videos on what creates a good marketing funnel and then transpose that into this knowledge base and then added some of your information and asked it to repurpose it. It's going to repurpose things that you agree with because you don't always agree with all the information on the internet. So we're going to just shut off the knowledge base for now. We're not going to demonstrate that. Now let's go to probably the most important part of the settings, and that's your presets. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new preset for what I believe are the people that are on this call. So that means when it comes to getting anything out of ChatGPT, before last year, everybody was saying you have to learn direct response, you have to learn copywriting. Well, nobody's saying that anymore. Now everybody's telling you you have to learn about prompt engineering. And if you ask for a blog post about Trello, it's going to give you a very boring, bland, banal output. But if you prompt it with good prompt engineering, like act like a blogger in the style of Gary Vaynerchuk. Your target market are digital marketers. The audience and avatar are technophobes, Generation X, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right at a 10th grade reading level. Give me the output in a blog with Markdown, WYSIWYG, include a title, keywords, and a description, all these different things. Basically, you're going to get a better output. But imagine doing that right here in ChatGPT. You saw what I wrote, write a blog post. Now, I'm not going to torture you, but imagine if you had to start a new chat and say, act like a blogger in the style of Gary Vaynerchuk, blah, 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 right, blah, 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 blah. Oh, my goodness. And guess what? As soon as you start a new chat, well, guess what? You're resetting the memory of the GPT. So you got to start all over again. Act like, right? It gets exhausting. And every time you start something new, it's not tied to any project. So you got to keep everything in this long thread, and it's too many tokens for it to remember what you're actually working on. It starts to overly hallucinate. And so what Groove.ai allows you to do is keep these settings intact while you open up new tabs, and you don't lose any of your settings. You're always talking to the right audience. So if we're going to be creating you guys here, and I think I stopped right in the middle, so we have to start again. We're going to click act like, let's just do it here, a blogger in the style of Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, what if you don't want a particular style? Well, you just put it on default. Well, what if you want a style that's not here? And we have SEO, direct response, article, news journalist, storyteller. So if you do a storyteller, you get Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, J.R.R. Tolkien, George R.R. Martin. You also have things like lawyer, scientific, YouTuber. You want to write and sound like Mr. Beast or Mark Rober or any of these YouTubers? They're right there. But what if there's something that you don't have the ability to do? Well, then you just put custom. And then you can say, act like an accountant. Whatever you want it to tell it to act like, you can give it a specific role. You'll also notice that if we tell it to act like a direct response copywriter, that these all change for that. But what happens if you don't see what you want there? Well, look, if you tell it, if your name is John Smith and it doesn't know who John Smith is, it's not going to be able to really write like that. But when I was talking with Natalie Ledwell from Mind Movies, I asked ChatGPT, who is Natalie Ledwell from Mind Movies? And it told me. I said, what is her writing style? And it told me, well, she is a known person because she's written hundreds, if not thousands, of blog post articles on online that it knows. So you can then put custom and say, act like Natalie Ledwell from Mind Movies, if that was you, right? If that was you. If not, then you have the ability with one of these apps that we've created here for you. Maybe it'll be the first one that I demo, and it's called, they didn't add that yet, but I have it in a document, and we'll just show it later. I don't want to get off track, but I created a little app that analyzes your writing style so that you could put all of that information right here. So, and then you can save that. You could save this preset, and then you could always write in your style. It'll take your writing and then basically create an avatar writing style for you. But let's just go the normal and say that we want to write a blog and we want to do it in the style of Gary Vaynerchuk, right? And who's our market? Let's just put digital marketers. And that's very broad. This is just accountants, lawyers. Here's where we drill down. We're going to put Generation X and millennials. Let's just put technophobes. Some of you are technophiles, right? Some of you love technology, but I'm going to put you down just in this example as technophobe. I could put more information here: average income, entrepreneurs. That's another good one. Entrepreneurs, no right click needed, and then we tell it to write it at 10th grade reading level. Okay, and here we can give it rules, and these could be personality traits when you always write in different styles, but we have all of that for you. I like to usually give this example here. Never, for me, I might say something if I'm writing on like what makes a good marketing funnel. I might say never mention ClickFunnels, right? I hit enter. Never mention Russell Brunson. I'll just put RB, right? Because I don't want it to say things like you could use tools out there like Lead Pages and ClickFunnels, right? Or study up on Russell Brunson and things like that. You might have somebody in your industry that you're competing with, and you don't want it to always mention if you're talking personal development, Tony Robbins says, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just going to remove those. We're going to save that. And I'm going to call this blogging for DM because I don't want to write digital marketers. So now I've got my preset right here. And so now that that's done, I can close that. We're going to optimize this. And this is new here. It shows you some things like frequency penalty and all these different things that basically come from the parameters from OpenAI. I recommend the creative, and we created the custom here for you if you want to adjust these things. This can really throw your stuff out of whack. I highly recommend you do not mess with this unless you've studied up on this and watched multiple videos on this, because you're going to notice the difference between default and creative. Look at the frequency penalty. It's very, very low. It goes from a 0.02 to a 0. Very, very little. You start moving these dials up like this, it's going to start talking in gibberish. So leave it on creative. You're going to get the best output, in my opinion. Now, format and framework. In ChatGPT, it's just always just going to give you a regular output unless you say, write me a blog post. But what kind of blog post? Notice that the framework, we have a list of 20 different frameworks here for a blog post. Okay. If we want to do an email, you'll notice it changes to different frameworks for emails. The urgency framework, the feature advantage benefit. We have default, blog, email, outline, headline, subject line, and more. You can have it fix grammar, translate it to another language, rewrite it. You could get bullets, short sales letter, webinar slides outline, long form sales letter, a long form sales letter outline, landing page copy, video script for voiceover, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on and on down to your Facebook copy, your pay-per-click ad copy, anything that you ever need. You'll create all of your assets here and then come over here, write them in and fill them out. But we said we're going to write a blog post, right? So I'm going to delete this one that was made by ChatGPT. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a framework and I'm going to choose the myth-busting blog post. You're also going to notice I have options now that are unique to this output. If I go to subject to email, I get subject line and preview snippet. If I go to blog post, I get blog title and keywords, preview snippet, and do I want to use bullets in my output? All right. So I'm going to check no bullets. Now we go to the tone and style. You have tone, style, and goal. And if you don't like the presets that we have for you, then you can simply just click custom and they'll change up. You can put whatever you want in here. But I like to just use the presets. So I'm going to write this blog post. Let's keep it in the spirit of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's conversational, persuasive, and playful. I'm going to do a style that is also conversational and instructive and creative. And the goal for this is SEO, and I want to build trust and improve my brand perception. So I can close this now. We go to the output. We can do short, medium, or long output. I'm going to go with short. I can choose the language. You can put any of these languages here. We have everything your heart would ever need. Trust me when I tell you. We even have caveman. We have Dothraki. We have Klingon. We have every language you can possibly imagine. And if not, you click custom. But I'm going to leave it as default. We're going to leave it as short because we don't want to watch the paint dry. We're just doing a demo. Now, here we're going to choose Markdown WYSIWYG. And by doing that, I can also do some other things in here. Like I want to use, when I make sales copy, I like to do these. But for a blog post, I don't want to write in chunks or use ellipses to bridge conversational copy. If we look at something like John Carlton's copywriting, you will notice that John writes in chunks and howdy dot, 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 dot. He uses a lot of dot, dot, dots in his copy. And this is a good writing style that we're going to demonstrate in just a minute as well. But for a blog, let's just bold some of the keywords and some phrases, and that's about it. So now I want you to realize that over here, you were just at Subway or Chipotle. This is where all the magic happens, okay? All of your settings, let's expand all of your settings are here. We've just written out a very, very, very long prompt that's going to give us better output. Now all we've got to do is put in the protein here. And the protein is the topic. You can be as bold as actually writing your blog title here, or you can just say something like Trello. Now remember, we're using Let's collapse all. We're using the myth-busting framework. Let's see if this writes like Gary Vaynerchuk to this audience at a 10th grade reading level. It's going to write a blog using the myth-busting framework. We need a title, keywords, and snippet. We've spoken about our tone, and we want our output to be WYSIWYG, so we're going to get H1 tags and all that. So now I don't need to write anything. I just write Trello. Boom, go. And there we go. So now you're going to notice I got my blog title, I got my preview snippet, and I've gotten my blog post, and it's putting some keywords here in bold that it thinks is important. And again, that's why I did a short blog post, because doing a demo with GPT sometimes is like watching paint dry. Now, I think this is a much better blog post than we got earlier with ChatGPT, because I was able to basically tell it to, let's debunk some things. Heard the one about Trello being too simple to handle big projects, right? So this is a myth-busting framework, all right? And there we go. We're completely done. I want to just show you a couple of things here. There's this little ability right here that I can see the system prompt that was actually sent to it. So this is what was sent here. And this long additional prompt that you don't have to write is what gave us the ability to get this incredible prompt written to the right audience. It's so perfect. It actually is such a great blog post. And when I'm done, I simply click move to document, and there you go. Now I can share this with people on my team. This is a must-have in your arsenal, guys. Let me show you something that I can also do with Groove.cm or with WordPress, which is the key. I'm going to go to a blog here. I'm just going to click this test blog here, and I want to show you that if I go and create a blog post, well, that one was there. I thought it might be empty, so we'll just create a new one. New post. Okay. I can take this right here, copy it, and paste it right into my blog. And you're going to notice it keeps the formatting for me. Why is this important? This is, remember, I totally lost my train of thought before. I was going to tell you that you could do this at Google. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go to Google. I want you to type in this search term, the coolest guy on the planet. All right, we're going to type that into Google. So I'm going to copy that. Just like that. I recommend you do it incognito so that you don't get any of your search influencing it, or any way you want. So I'll go incognito. And we're going to type in the coolest guy on the planet. We're going to hit enter. And you're going to see right here, the coolest guy on the planet. It's got my picture. Discover why Mike Filsame is regarded as the coolest guy on the planet. So I wanted to rank for a blog that I could show you, that I could rank for something. There's a lot of people that have been trying to rank for this over the years. As you can see here, there's been people here, Brad Fallon, Jonathan Leisure, Russell Brunson, James Franco. Lots of people have been trying to rank for this. And I said, you know, now that we've got AI, I'm going to basically do this. And what do you get over here when you go there? Okay, here's a picture of me, right? I threw that into AI with an app that I'm going to show you called Pixar Me that I created. And by putting in the Pixar Me, it basically created these Pixar versions of me at WebinarCon smoking a cigar. I thought they were pretty cool. Basically, what I do is twice a week, I come in and I write a blog post on what makes someone the coolest guy on the planet, how to become the coolest guy on the planet, mastering coolness, what makes someone the coolest guy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I wrote a few blog posts. Now, the beautiful thing about this is when I go to Groove.cm, you're going to see my blogs, the coolest guy on the planet. When I actually edit these posts or create these posts, all I do is simply paste in the content as I get it from Groove.ai. Groove.ai automatically bakes in the H1, you'll see it right here, H1, H2, H3, and it's optimized. I told it to optimize this for SEO. I'm getting very, very rich content that has made me number one for the keyword, the coolest guy on the planet. I think it's pretty cool, pretty amazing that I was able to rank for a cool bar trick that if somebody says to me, hey, so what are you doing? You can laugh and say, well, according to Google, I'm the coolest guy on the planet. It's a little fun thing that I tell my friends and stuff like that. But I really did it because I wanted to be able to just demonstrate that we could take something that people are competing for. People have been trying to compete for this. It's an SEO. Anybody in the world of SEO, back in the StomperNet days knows that every marketer in the world was trying to rank for this, and I outranked sites that have been out there for years just by using Groove.ai. So we're going to go back into here. If I want to just change things up, right? So I'm just going to now write blog 2. Now I could give it more information, like the name of the framework there as well. So let's just put blog post 2 here. Now all I got to do here is open up a new chat, just like this, and guess what? I don't have to start all over again. Act like a, right? Or if you remember this, you used to have these Google Docs with these different prompts, and you'd have to say, all right, act like, okay, which is the prompt that I use for, you don't have to worry about this anymore. It's all stored in your presets and your projects, and you could reuse them over and over again. So now, if I want to change things up, and I want to basically, right now, maybe I want to just sound a little bit more like Dan Kennedy. I'm going to hit apply here. And let's say that for this particular thing, I know I said blog post, but let's just say I want to write an email. Let's do an email. Let's use the problem agitate solution framework. Let's get a subject line and a preview snippet. And let's just do it again. Protein, Trello. I don't need to write anything else. Just like that. Oh, and I'm going to click stop generating here. When you switch, you can call it a bug or not. My team decided that these are tied to individual frameworks. So if you go to blog, then it maintains this. But when you go to email, we no longer have a tone and style because they felt you might want to write these things different. We'll just re-add some of these again. We want for the email, I want to generate sales and lead generation. Okay. So here, and maybe they're right. Maybe that's why you changed them for the framework. Here, we're going to go with Markdown again, but here I want to write in chunks and I want to use some emojis, the whole 9 yards. So here we go. We're going to now put in Trello. And so now we're getting our email written with some bold, and we've got our preview snippets. I told it to use some emojis, which will help you get some better open rates. All right, we're going to wait for this, and we're going to go on to the next part, and that's inline editing. And that's why we call this right here Content Copilot. So let's get rid of this. Let me just see if that timed out. Yeah, sometimes it times out. That happens. That's GPT. If you notice, sometimes it stops in the middle. You just do this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this over to here just for now. And we could basically, just call this email for launch number 2, et cetera, et cetera. And now what I want to show you is we've added the ability. And so I'm going to click on full screen. So I have a little more room here. I'm going to just work in the document only without the settings. So what I can do is ready to conquer the chaos right here. If you highlight this, you see here you get something called Ask AI. So what you can do when you hover over this or anything, you simply click Ask AI, and now you get a little prompt here that you can say one-click options like rewrite, fix grammar and punctuation, more like this, expand on this, make more concise, simplify, explain to a elementary, middle schooler, a high schooler, create an outline, create talking points, give an example, create a metaphor, find a related famous quote, make an analogy, get a proverb, a maxim, an allegory, a parable, an aphorism, or the old adage. So let's see which one we chose here. We said ready to conquer the chaos. Let's find a related proverb. Let's see what happens. A fitting proverb for ready to conquer chaos could be out of the frying pan and into the fire, right? So now I have a couple of different options when this is done. I can copy this information. In this case, I don't need it because there's a lot of expository stuff here that I don't need. So I'll just copy this myself here and go like this and close this out. And then I can just put something here like this. Ready to conquer the chaos, the old, phrase out of the frying pan, right? Let's give something else right here. So why wait for a miracle to happen? Make it happen. Let's just see. Maybe I want to get a famous quote. So let's see if there's ever been a famous quote related to this. So we're going to come here and we're going to click on find a related famous quote for this. A related famous quote is by someone named George Bernard Shaw. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get blah, 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 blah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this right here because, it's giving me other ones by, Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Let's go with that one because you're going to see why. You can now do something like this. You simply put Abraham Lincoln like this, and then do that big old dash by hitting Option Shift Dash, and you get the big dash. We put Abraham Lincoln, and now we're going to take this, and I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to click on this quote thing right here, like that. And I'm going to make it bold and italic. And so now I've got something like that that's in my copy. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Abraham Lincoln. So why wait for a miracle? Make it happen, right? Or I can maybe put that above it there like that, so there's a little more context. And then now you can make your writing pop better because you're getting actual proverbs, analogies, metaphors, old wives' tales, adages, all parables, all those different things. If you were to see something like this right here, you're not alone. Keeping track of everything isn't just, juggling flame torches. I can just basically say more like this. And then it's going to give me different ways to say that or expand on this. It's going to basically, I don't even want to do this because it makes like 7 paragraphs, but I think you get it. Let's just do this one right here. And I think you get the point. Explain this to a middle schooler. All right. So imagine you're trying to keep a bunch of things under control, right? Look, the language is not what I would use. I'd probably say to a high schooler, just giving you some examples depending on your target audience. But this has GPS in a car. So I'm going to click replace or insert after cursor. Let's do insert after cursor. And there we go. Don't even know where that was, but you can basically see somewhere around here. I think that was right here. Something like that, right? So, but you get the point. The fact that we have this ability now for you to highlight anything and enrich your copy or even type anything that you want right here based on that prompt, it'll adjust that prompt. So that's why we call this stuff here Content Copilot, because once you're done, and let's just create a new document here, this is just your draft. It's your job now to go into that draft, and actually read it and say, I don't like this, so let's get rid of it. I want more of this. Let's get a metaphor for this. And then go back into ChatGPT and get more information and write it. All right. This isn't a full, I don't want to get, into a live stream style training. I'm sort of doing that right now, but I really wanted to show how important that was. And you can actually even do that right here. You can actually ask AI even out of your chat and then move it over to your document. So that, folks, is Groove.ai.